Coming up, I just talked to him.
Okay. He's probably running down to the village hall right now as we speak.
Yeah. Coming up, I just talked to him.
Okay.
Okay, we're live on the internet, we're live in here.
Okay, we've got Steve and Ed online with us. Where's Mr. Schuster, Jeff, and Kyle?
I'm present. Mark
Oh, there
Schuster.
you are.
Got me.
There's one.
I see Kyle and Jeff both also.
Yeah, I
And
see
the
him.
chief.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Hello.
It's this cheap TV I got down here, just shows me one person at a time.
You gotta switch it to grid view.
Ah. My AV guy doesn't know how to do that.
Thanks for letting me in.
Probably wipe me off the
I
face.
wouldn't be picking on the AV guy. We need him.
There's
We
a
have-
new kickstand on there, John. It won't, it,
Yeah, wow.
for those of you who haven't been to Village Hall, we have replaced the doorstop on the door into the hallway. So it, once you release it, it closes all on its own. Okay. Okay, it's Monday evening, the 5th of April, approximately 7:35. Governor Pritzker has extended the pandemic disaster emergency, thus allowing the village to conduct a remote open meeting of the Board of Trustees. So I'll call the roll, please.
Do you want to do the pledge first?
No, oh, okay, do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the
Allegiance to
flag.
the flag of the United States of America,
To the
to
republic
the republic,
for
for
which
which
it
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you, Tony.
No problem.
Okay, now roll call, please.
Mr. Datley,
Here.
Mr. Pareno,
Present.
Mr. Nimitz,
Here.
Mr. Zamba, Mr. Merkel, Mr. Harney.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, we've got 5 of the 7 here this evening. We've got a quorum, we've got a meeting. Let's move on with the minutes of the regular board meeting of March 15th, 2021. Do we have a motion to so approve?
So approved, Diatley.
Second, Pareno.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Pareno to approve the minutes of March 15th, 2021. Any corrections?
I just noticed it now on the paragraph preceding adjournment. I think the computer or printer or something dropped the trustee name. So for the second, you see where it is there? Second by trustee and no name.
You're right. I see that. Okay. I can correct that. Thank you.
Oh,
Sure.
you're talking before adjournment?
Yeah, where,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
By trustee and then the ordinance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch that sooner. I just noticed it.
Well, we'll put your name in there.
Okay.
Roll call.
Okay, roll call's been done.
No.
No, minutes, yes. Roll call, please.
Mr. Datley,
Aye.
Mr. Pareno,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 affirmatives, no negatives. Motion so carries. 4 affirmatives, no negatives. Okay, President's report. First thing on the item this evening is a petition for disconnect. for 15 North 440 Randall Road, also known as Randy's Market. We've got an ordinance number 21-5. We have a motion to so approve.
I move that we approve ordinance number 2021-5, ordinance for disconnecting certain territory from the village of Sleepy Hollow, Randy's Farm Parcel, 15 North 440 Randall Road. Moreno.
Second, Diatley.
Okay, motion moved by Moreno, seconded by Diatley, ordinance 2021-5, disconnection of certain territory from the village of Sleepy Hollow. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
Are we gonna have an opportunity in the second part of this to talk about paperwork that the village attorney put together, or do we do that now?
What are we talking about?
That'd be the supporting documentation.
Supporting documentation?
Yeah.
It's all part of the the motion to approve the ordinance, so
Okay.
you
So
got
I-
questions, move on.
Yeah, so I have a question then. I know that in this document, see if I can find, I got a paper copy here, let me find it in here. There's a question here regarding, do we still enjoy any tax sharing
No,
on this?
Not on this
not
one.
on this parcel.
Okay, because in the documentation here, it called out, by way of an example, if the first occupancy permit was issued before June 21, the period calculating the amount Village Sleepy Hollow would get some on January 1, 2022. But I'm assuming this information was from the old boundary agreement?
The
That's
2005 agreement anticipated the Grove and possible new auto dealerships on the north side of Randall Road, and called for tax sharing under that arrangement. That period of time has elapsed. There was tax sharing. That same agreement said that if there was a petition filed by the owners of the Randy's property to disconnect, it would be disconnected. There will not be tax sharing for the village of Sleepy Hollow from the Randy's property.
And I just found electronically, it was on page 11 of our packet, and it's basically the third paragraph. It starts by way of example only,
Right.
and it has some dates in there that confuse me.
That's referring to the original IGA with Elgin on that parcel west of Randall Road. That expired 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, any other questions concerning the disconnect this evening? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney. Mr.
Aye.
Harder.
You said
Ed,
aye.
you.
No, I
okay.
said,
You vote aye?
who are you talking to?
You, Ed.
I'm taking the roll call and I was
Yeah.
calling for your vote.
Yep, I said I a
Okay.
couple times, must not have gotten through.
That's all right. It broke up.
Mr. Nimitz.
Joe,
Joe?
Yeah, I'm here.
vote. Yea or nay?
Hi, I can having a hard time hearing Tony and Anthony. It's very muffled and muted. I can kind of, it's very hard to hear that side of the room.
I don't think those work
Doesn't
anymore,
work
Anthony.
anymore. So how do you vote, Joe?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
You didn't hear me did you hear me the first time or
No,
not?
we did not.
Okay.
Okay, we had 4 affirmative votes, no negative votes. The motion so passes. Okay, the next item, in your packets, you will find, actually, it's, no, it's there. You will find a draft copy of the fiscal year 22 budget that Brian and I have put together with the help of the department heads over the past 6-8 weeks. I would like you to take the next 2 weeks, review it. If you've got any questions, please give me a call or Brian or one of the department heads. And what I would like to do is bring this back on the floor again on the 19th of April for discussion and possibly a vote. But at the moment, it is in your packets for your information and for your perusal. You would probably have some, I don't know, 80 to 100 pages in there. So if you've got any questions this evening, I'm more than willing to take them. If not, remember that we will bring this up again on the 19th.
I have a question.
Okay,
As I looked through the document, I was just using one group of pages to identify. If I look at general fund, I find that there's 3 different end pages, page 26, page 47, and page 67. And I'm just confused as you scroll through the document, why they would be, some of them have different, one of them has a different header, but the numbers seem to be similar. But I'm confused as to why, as you scroll through here, page 26 of the packet is one page I'm looking at.
okay.
And then if you go to
Page 26 of the packet.
page 26 of the packet is at the very bottom, it would be the total fund revenue and beginning balance, total fund expenses, and then fund surplus and
Right.
work current deficit. That's page 26. If you go to page 47, it's the same 3 lines and the same number in the 2022 requested budget column. I just confused as to why it seems like they were multiplied, they were duplicated.
Well, there are a couple of repeats of the style. 46, let me bring this
So
up.
47. So,
47,
and again, I'm just looking at the last 3 lines of it, just for my own
okay,
reference.
what you've got are 2 different presentations, Anthony.
Okay,
Okay, if you look at at page 46 in the packet, you have 2019 actual, 2020 actual, 2021 actual budget, and the actual position we are in as of the end of February.
right,
The projected position we will be in at the end of the year. And then you've got the proposed 2022 budget. Okay,
Right.
if you go back to the first one, what you're looking at is the basic expenses of this year versus last year year to date, and the budget forecasted for next year. So
yeah,
there's 2 different presentations of the same information.
okay,
Well, actually, the second presentation, we go back an extra year. We're going back to 2019. You don't have that in the first one. You just got fiscal year 21 versus the actual budget. Okay,
okay.
plus last year's year-to-date info.
Yeah, I had a similar question on the 5-year cap page. And
That'll be the same thing.
yeah, I need to look at it then maybe with somebody, because I'm looking at the same page and the title is exactly the same. But that's okay. All right.
And look at the headings of the information across. You'll see 2019, 2020, 2021.
I am, and these 2 are exactly the same. They're on 2 different pages. That's okay. I'll figure it out.
Well, did your printer print the same page twice?
Nope.
Let me know. Maybe after the meeting, we'll take a look at it and see. Okay. Say, the next item is liquor license. In doing the budget, if you recall, last year, we reduced the liquor fees to the 2 liquor establishments we have in the village. The question is, do we want to continue that practice this year, or do we go back to the full rate that we charged on the liquor license? I believe one is $1,600 and one is $2,400 a year. That was a question I'd just like to throw out there. Should we give those guys another break this year, or should we just go right ahead and charge the full amount? Any comments, questions, thoughts about it?
I'm good with keeping the same
They said
prices on.
They all jump in.
Yeah, now they.
Oh,
Since we're still coming out of the pandemic, I would be in favor of keeping them where they are for this year, for another year.
This is Joe, I concur.
okay. Ed?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, I concur.
I would say yes. Can we look at it again, if things open up, say after?
I don't want to tell them in April, I'm going to give them a break and then turn around in July and tell them they owe me more.
Okay, all right.
You don't want to do that to them.
Oh, I agree, then you keep it the lower amount.
Brad?
Leave it as is, since I don't know what we're talking about. I just came.
Okay, all right, that is it for the time being for the president's report, clerk's report.
The only thing I have is just a public service announcement, reminding everybody that tomorrow is the date that you get to exercise your constitutional right to vote. I suggest that those who have not voted do so and vote your conscience. Other than that, I have nothing else to add.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Planning and zoning, there's no report. Attorney's report. Mr. Schuster.
Mr. President, thank you. On your agenda tonight is a proposed resolution to approve an amendment to the 2005 jurisdictional boundary line agreement with the city of Elgin pertaining to property that's located at the western end of Tollway Drive on the north side of I-90. This property is the subject of a petition for zoning and development with an industrial office warehouse type building, rather large. Because of that, they are seeking to be served by City of Elgin Sewer and Water. Your consensus last month was to go ahead with this prospect, and therefore we have a proposed agreement. The agreement will allow for real estate tax sharing for a period of 5 years. And should there be any, although no one really expects that there will, should there be any sales tax out of the property, that also would be shared during that time.
Okay.
Any questions, concerns?
There being none, do we have a motion to approve resolution 532?
So moved.
Harney, second.
Moved by Ziemba, seconded by Harney to approve resolution 532, the boundary agreement with Elgin and the High Point property. Any further comments or questions, concerns, discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ziemba,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Perino,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. The motion so passes. Okay, anything else, Mr.
Nothing
Schuster?
else this evening.
I
No,
do have a
nothing else
question.
this evening.
I do have a question for Mr. Schuster.
What is it, Joe?
Well, just because I looked at the agreement, and I saw the plat of disconnect above that, and Mark and I had emailed Mark. Do we have any idea where the Sleepy Hollow Elgin boundary is going to be in relation to Randall Road after the disconnection? Did you get a chance to look into that at all?
answering your last question first, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I did have a chance.
If there's
I
no good
don't
answer now,
know.
you don't need to answer it.
If
I just,
Right. I discussed it with the city attorney in Elgin. We, because of the timing, we really weren't able to add it in now. It appears to me that the line is somewhat in the middle of the road. It's not a straight line. The city of Elgin believes that, I think from the Randy's property north, Randall Road is Sleepy Hollow jurisdiction, at least up to the West Dundee property, Carrington Drive and there. And that south of the Randy's property, the Randall Road is City of Elgin jurisdiction. I'm not sure I agree with that from the maps. When the road was widened, from a 2-lane road, now 4-lane road, 6-lane road, it wasn't all even Steven. And I'd want to talk with the chief. I know that Chief Linnane spent some time trying to determine jurisdiction on the Illinois 72 and on Randall Road both. And it would probably be advisable to revisit this with Elgin and get it, add it to this agreement for policing purposes.
That
If
would be
nothing
very
else. Yeah. In fact, when I look at the other maps, it looks like there's a gap where Elgin annexed a certain way from the north and Sleepy Hollow incorporated a certain distance from the south, and there's part of the road that's in neither. So
kind of no man's land.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand how it would come to be historically. The disconnection does not automatically change the boundary as to highways. It's a gap in the law, in my opinion. So it's something that we should look into and try to settle all the way from the tollway up to Route 72 and be done with it.
thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate that. Good answer.
Okay, anything else for the attorney? If not, I'll go to the engineer, Mr. Steele.
Good evening. There's something that came in late onto my desk in regards to an application for permit. The property in question is 743 Pimlico. So the homeowner there wants to have their landscaper. There is a catch basin that's basically right on the corner of their lot where the ground has settled around it. And over time, as cattails have actually started to grow in that. The homeowner would like to complete this work on their own rather than having the village spend funds in order to do this. So they are requesting to actually do that work and submit an application for it. The question becomes is typically when there's work done in village right-of-way is that the village will require a bond to complete the work. Basically, that covers any damage to the road, any damage to the ground, in case whatever company does the work the village ends up having to take it over and do it. So the question becomes is the village going to want to require a bond for this work? Just to give you an idea, the construction value that they're estimating on the permit application is $2,500. So you think as far as what damage that could happen out there it'd be pretty minor as far as the amount of damage that ended up happening out there. It'd be the edge of the roadway from equipment and also just the catch basin itself. I talked with Kyle and we both agree that we see no issues as far as the homeowner doing that work or the work that's actually proposed. So question becomes is, would the village want to require a bond for that work?
If I may speak, I believe we've had other works very similar that we did not require a bond. So I'm
Yeah.
that a homeowner is willing to take this work upon themselves and put some effort in. I have no issue with a project of that size not having a bond.
Yeah, I would have no issue with that either.
Mr.
Like
President, I did have a chance to look at the village code, and it provides that the board may, not shall, but may require a security deposit of some kind, a bond or other security, when work is being done on public property. When utility companies are doing excavation, that's in a different section, and then or they're building above ground facilities, there is a requirement that a bond be obtained, but this is not that type of work. If you have I'm sorry, Jeff, did you say that there would be some heavy equipment that would be brought in or not?
The smallest thing that's going to happen out there is just a bobcat. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
anticipate anything's going to actually tear apart out there.
Yeah, probably not damage to the roadway from that. So, your concern, I guess, is restoration or, making sure that when it's done, that it's working properly. But at $2,500 and the property owner is willing to proceed on their own, those are things to consider as well.
Okay, I gather the general consensus is that we do not want to impose a bond requirement on these individuals, let them do the work as is, just as long as they hold the village harmless.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Who will be watching over their work? Mr. Killinger? Mr. Steele? Anybody?
I don't have that kind of time. There's only two of them. So I'm not going to babysit a project.
Well, no, but drive by and see that, everything's copacetic. You'll be our eyes and ears on the road for that. So. Okay, any other questions or concerns for the engineer? Thank you, Jeff. Finance report. Approval of the accounts payable.
I move that we approve accounts payable warrants of April 5th, 2021 in the amount of $73,244.08.
Second, Perino.
Moved by Ziemba, seconded Moreno to approve the warrants of April 5th, 2021 in the amount of $73,000, $244.88. Okay, any comments, questions, discussion, additions or deletions? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ziemba,
Aye.
Mr. Prano,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
Motion passes.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so passes. Okay, next item is comments from the public. We do have one individual who has requested to address the board this evening. I believe she has requested.
She said her comments made it into the minutes, so she said she didn't need to speak. Block party
Into the minutes.
It'd be on the agenda.
on the agenda.
New business, Surrey Ridge Block Party. Is that what he's talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's coming up.
Okay, so that's coming up. So she does not want to speak with us this evening. Okay. There's no one else in the building with public comments. We'll move on to trustee reports. Roads and Parks, Mr. Harney.
Just a couple things. Pothole repair has begun. Naturally, that's weather dependent on the daily progress of that. The plan was to work on Sleepy Hollow Road and then after that continue into the village. I see. Well, there's a purchase order on the street signs, the new street signs and mounting posts and that. And that will be discussed under new business. So let's just wait until then. No sense repeating ourselves. Other than that, nothing else to report.
All right, thank you, sir. Finance.
All right, I reviewed the 3 audit proposals that were in our packet. And I want to make a motion that we approve the audit proposal from Mueller and Company for a starting fee of $13,500 per year.
I will second that motion.
Review of the 3, Mueller was the cheapest at $13,500, and every year thereafter, they went up 3%. That's their proposal. Selden and Fox was second. They started at $17,000, and they went up 3, 2, 2, and then 1.5. And then this other guy, Elder, Casella and Company, started at $20,000, and I didn't even bother, other than looking every year was 5% increase. I didn't waste much time with them. I will say that I am surprised at Mueller and Company. They've definitely changed their tone over years, because they audited us probably when I first started. They were like in the early 2000s, late 90s, and they had gotten so high with their fees. And when they would come and quote, they didn't, you could tell they didn't want to deal with us. They were always the highest. And this year, I was surprised to see they've come down. And my wife, they deal with my wife's company on tax matters for the owners. And she said the same thing, that they've come down with their prices the last year or so too. So they sharpened the pencil. So I'd say, let's give them a chance again. I mean, especially because they're, $4,000 cheaper than or 3.5 cheaper than the next bid. So that's my recommendation.
Plus, they didn't put the picture of Sleepy Hollow, New York on their
Yeah.
proposal.
Oh, is that what?
That's Sleepy Hollow.
I didn't even saw the Fox. I got that color. I didn't even notice that. That's great. I'm going to write to that guy after we're done. Hey, thanks for your proposal, but take a look what you did.
Okay, so moved by Ziemba, seconded by Morano to accept the proposal from Mueller for the audited position of the village for the next 3 years with 2 optional years after that. Any other comments, questions, or discussion?
I'm sorry, that they had 4 optional years, it looks like.
That's about 2.
2? Oh, I misread it then, because they gave you 4 in the proposal. There were 5 years in the proposal.
Well, yeah, we got
5 total.
5 total,
5 total,
yes.
right.
Oh, so
The
3 and then 2
plus
optional.
the
Okay,
2.
I misunderstood. I apologize. Yep, you're right.
So they'll do the 3 years, and then they've got an option for 2 years, or 2 individual years going forward. So, okay, no further comments or questions, discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Datley,
Aye.
Mr. Prano,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Zimba,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
Motion passes.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so carries. Mueller will be our auditor for the next 3 years minimum.
And I didn't do anything on the February expenses yet. I'll send an
Okay.
email out for that. So that's it for finance.
All right. Okay, thank you, Don. Water and sewer, Joe?
Just a couple small things. I was recently out in another small village about our size, and I saw them doing their spring water flushing with the 2 employees going on closing valves, opening, doing the flushing. And Jeff Steele had sent me this benefits of unidirectional flushing a while ago, and I just wanted to point out that that's another one of the routine maintenance things we can't do because we do not have the staffing to do that. So I just thought I'd put that in there because Joe Hines had recommended and Jeff Steele had recommended it. Just an update, Brian should be contacting or has already contacted Kyle and Jeff to start figuring out which are the highest priority water mains to replace, what the cost is going to be, what it's going to cost to finance it, and what the possible savings are by reducing the number of breaks. So hopefully over the next couple of months, we'll have some good numbers to see what this is going to cost, how we can finance it, and what the savings would be. So anybody has any questions or comments, to let any one of the 3 of us know, or I should say 4 of us. Kyle, anything that you want to add?
No, not at the moment.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Police and public safety, Mr. Diatley.
Just one quick shout out, reminder to everyone. One, the monthly report's in your packet, so you can see that. That speaks for itself. Just to remind all the residents that pay attention to the posts that the chief and the department put out on Facebook under the Sleepy Hollow Police Department. Great information. It's good to share that information with everybody in the community. And so just to remind everyone that that information is there for you, the citizens of Sleepy Hollow. But that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Public buildings and environment, Mr. Merkel is not here. There's no report from him. Move on to buildings and zoning, Mr. Carino.
Just wanted to thank the Sleepy Hollow Service Club for their Easter egg, having the Easter Bunny drive around with approved addresses. We were fortunate to have them stop.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Now we do.
Now we do.
Now, okay. I lost audio there.
So they did a great job and took a lot of nice pictures, and it was great that they put something together for the residents for Easter. Other than that, no other report.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Old business, any old business to come before the board? There being no old business, new business. First item under new business is a request for the Surrey Ridge block party. We've got a request from the homeowners on Surrey Ridge. They would like to have a block party May 22nd of this year. If you recall, they approached us a little over a year ago and asked about it. We would have got gave them permission. Then because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they did not hold it. They would like to resume and have it again, or have it this year instead. They have talked with the chief about blocking off the roads and keeping it clear for emergency
I
vehicles.
don't mean to interrupt, but I have lost all audio.
What'd you say? We
I
couldn't hear
can't
that.
hear anything.
Yeah, I was breaking up here pretty bad too.
Let me give the AV guy a moment to see what, we got anything internal, or is it?
Sound like a bandwidth issue on this end. Was it like popping in and out for you, Ed?
What's the issue?
I don't see anything on my end.
Hey, Tony.
That might be Ed's end.
Less hot air on them.
Ed, can you hear us?
The less they talk, the less hot air we listen to.
Ed?
Ed, can you hear anything?
Thought it, yeah.
I'll let him know.
Ed, your phone's ringing.
No,
Call through the fix.
there we go. Now Ed's come.
All the more reason.
All of a sudden, I lost audio.
Yeah, we can hear you now and everybody else can hear each other. So I think it's on your end.
You turn his video off and his audio would improve.
Oh, wait a minute. I can hear that in the background. Oh, that's your house?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Linda and the kids.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I can't hear anybody at the meeting. I'll,
Ed?
I can put it
well,
on
if you
speaker.
don't-
You know
if
what?
you don't-
Oh, hang on. Let me.
If-
Hey guys, can you be quiet in there for a little bit? Let me turn it off. Turn the blue.
Joe?
Hey, Joe,
Call for the meeting.
I'll,
Well, no, here, I'll put my phone here. Can you guys, Ed, say something? Can you hear him?
I can't hear him.
Ed, oh,
Say something.
Just turn his video off, the phone won't work.
Ed, Joe?
Joe, tell Ed to turn his video off.
Ed, turn your video off.
Okay, I'll try that. Somebody say something.
Can you?
Okay, can you hear us now, Ed?
Yes,
You're hearing it through the phone, Ed, or you're hearing it through your computer?
through the phone.
Yeah, I just got the phone there. So if we have a few more items, why don't we finish it up this way just to get done?
Okay, I'll stay up. I'll stay on the phone.
Okay. All right, let's see, we had the request for Surrey Ridge Block Party, the same as last year, but moved to this year due to the pandemic. They'd like to get the streets blocked off. Let's see. What did she say here? They would like to block off Acorn Drive at Katrina and Locust Drive at Surrey Lane. Historically, what the 22nd would be a Saturday. Right.
Yeah.
So in the past, what we've done is left the barricades in somebody's driveway adjacent to those intersections on Friday, and then they put them out to block the roads on Saturday, removed them after their party was over Saturday afternoon, and then Public Works would come by and pick them up on Monday. So that's pretty much the game plan on those things. There any other questions on it?
I
No.
move that we approve the Surrey Ridge Block Party for the requested date.
Second, Nemec.
Moved by Ziemba, and seconded by Nemec to approve the request for the block party at Surrey Ridge. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ziemba,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Prano,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Hardy.
Aye.
Awesome.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. The motion so passes. Okay, the next item under new business. Purchase order of street sign posts. Mr. Harney, you were starting to talk about that.
Why don't I turn that over to Kyle?
Okay, so I put in the packet, purchase order of 25 Telspar signposts. That's the square ones that hold the street name signs at the top of them. I don't have in the packet the cost of the street signs themselves. I'm still waiting on the numbers on that. That'll be around $1,100. But what you see in front of you is the post, the anchor, the cross connection piece to hold the street name signs in place.
And that's a budgeted amount of $4,453.75.
Correct.
I believe the gentleman is looking for approval to purchase.
We'll go ahead and move that we approve the purchase of the signs and signposts as per the bid and Kyle's request.
Second.
Diatley.
Moved by Nemec, seconded by Ziemba to approve the purchase order for the signpost of $4,453.75. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Ziemba,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Prano,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley.
Aye.
Motion passes. 5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so carries. Okay, the next item, well, let's see, those are the 2 listed items for new business. I do have one quick one for new business. I have received an inquiry concerning 1001 West Main Street. The property also referred to as Home Life Building. As you all know, that building is up for sale, and I've had an inquiry as to whether the village would be interested in seeing a NASCAR museum in that building. They approached us. They would like to put a NASCAR museum in on the 2nd floor and have some type of sales on the 1st floor with some possible service also in the on the 1st floor.
For the museum, there's no sales tax for that, correct? It's only whatever they sell on the, okay.
A gift shop.
Yeah, the gift shop, that's it.
There you go.
Exit through the gift shop. Yeah, Steve, what's the status, just so, not that it's our, I mean, it's the building owner's issue, but what's the status of the All Pellets Wellness? Have they just completely dropped out of the building?
We've not heard from them since last summer.
Other than my affinity for Formula One over NASCAR, I have no issue.
Yeah, I'd be interested in learning more about it and getting more information from them. Yeah.
Okay. I can let them know. We can go from there then.
Do we have enough residents from Tennessee and Kentucky that would be going to the museum? Sorry, I gotta keep it politically correct.
Careful. Be careful.
That's why I kept it that way.
I'm from southern Indiana, so I'll let that one slide. Okay, I said they've inquired. I told them I would run it up the flagpole, see what we thought. You'd like some further information, I'll let them know
I think it might be a good way of getting.
from there. Is there any other new business to come before the board?
What? Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Mr. Zimba,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Pareno,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. We are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Remember, tomorrow is election day, and we'll see you on the 19th.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Night.
Good night. And I'm declaring this is my last electronic meeting.
Awesome.
Good luck tomorrow, Ed.
I'll see you guys in person at the next meeting.
Okay.
Who owns the building now? The old Home Life